So in this case, for this story, Jolyon reached out to me, and he and I worked together a few years ago on various things. And he was like, hey, if you have any ideas, I'm down to do something. And anytime Jolyon's down to do for something, I try to jump on it.
My name is Jolyon Yates. I'm from England. I moved to Denver just over 20 years ago, and I'm now an illustrator.
Hi, I'm Alan Brooks. I write graphic novels and teach graphic novel writing at Regis University. I'm from Atlanta, and I have been in Denver for a good long while now. So for this exhibit, I did a story called Neighborhood Watch. I wanted to do something that sort of talked about what was going on in society.
And I remember the Karen and Becky phenomenon was big in the news at the time, and being very upset about that. And so we got together and did a story.
So in the world of comic books, as a writer, it's a really interesting thing, right? Because you have to leave room for the art. So you have to say the most you can say with the fewest words possible. Now, of course, I do come up with what the artist draws to some extent. Like I'm saying, I want to see these two characters doing X. But then the artist comes up with what they look like, what angle, how it fits on the page, etc. But in terms of my actual words appearing on the page, I want to say as much as I can say with as few words as possible, because comic books are a visual medium.
So when I get a script, I'll read it through once and get the idea of the atmosphere and the message, and then I'll go through it again and I'll make notes about what references I need. And in the course of gathering references, I usually spend most of a day putting together files of photos and images, start to put together the visuals for the story in my mind. So I kind of art direct the overall look to a story. So by the end of doing the references, I have a pretty good idea of my approach to it.
So when I get to the end of the process, which means that I've gotten a finished art back, sometimes the art shows things that I thought I was going to have to convey in dialogue, which means that I can cut out some of the dialogue. Other times, the art does not show something that I intended to show, so I'd have to go back and add some dialogue. It's about these two things working together, visuals and words working together in a really powerful and engaging way. And if I, as a writer, try to dominate the page with my words, then it's actually not going to work.
I'm not telling my own personal stories in comics, but I can apply my own life experiences to if a scene is similar to something that I've experienced.
As far as my own personal narrative appearing in my art, I would say not that much. But then my mother, when she reads my stuff, she says, "That's you." So I think, anytime you're creating art, part of you slips in. But up to this point, I'm not so interested in telling stories of my own life. It's interesting that comic books and graphic novels are only recently being accepted as an adult medium in America. In Europe and Asia, they've always been. They've just been like a medium, not a genre, right? So any kind of story can be told. And so it's really interesting to watch America sort of start to embrace that all kinds of stories can be told through comics. And for me, it's really most important to tell stories that reflect upon the world that we live in. I just feel privileged and blessed to be able to use comic books in that way.